I recently found this lipstick again. It is in a handbag I've not used since the summer. I'm so delighted. When I told Tom, he said, "What do you need lipstick for? You're not leaving the house." Like, that's a reason not to wear lipstick. Hello and welcome back to Planet Property. Today I thought I'd talk you through my APC folder and how I organise my notes. It's no secret that there's a lot to learn for the APC. Along with all of the competencies you have to learn, you have to make sure that your written submission is up to the standard that the RICS want to see. So I thought I would run you through how I organise my notes and how I've started organising my revision in the hopes that it might help one of you. So this is my folder. I've shown it in a previous video. I got it from Paper Chase, I believe. Yes, from Paper Chase a few years ago now, when I first enrolled on the APC, because what is more motivating than buying new stationery? And it says, I'm very busy and important, which I am. So it is one of these sized folders. I'm not sure what they're called, you know, the big box lever arch ones. And inside, such a satisfying noise. Comes away, and I have all of these sections. So the way I've organised mine is I have got a tab per competency. Then I have a tab for my summary of experience, a tab for my case study, a tab for meeting notes after meetings with my counsellor and supervisor, and then a tab for revision tips and guides and that sort of thing. So I'll just quickly run you through the kinds of things that I keep in each one. So the first tab is the beast, it's ethics. So in here, I keep in little plastic wallets. I've got all of the ethical standards that are applicable. So these are the international ethical standards, the RICS decision tree on ethics, more ethics stuff. Clearly the printer was running out of ink at this time. Conflicts of interest, clients' money, general advice for firms, and these sorts of things. I won't run you through everything I've got in here, but I've got every single one of the RICS professional guidance notes or professional statements on anything to do with ethics located in this section of the folder, so that I can just always refer back to, oh, okay, yes, that is the Countering Bribery, Corruption, Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing first edition from February 2019. I better check that the first edition is still relevant, actually, because I haven't re-looked at a lot of this stuff since I first started looking at it in 2019. The next tab is my mandatory competencies to level 1 and 2. So I just lumped all of these into one tab because I felt like they probably didn't need a whole one each. So in here, I've got all of the level 1 and 2 mandatories. So accounting, business planning, conflict avoidance, management and resolution, data management. So where I get the information for a lot of these notes is sometimes from the RICS iServe. So iServe is really great, and if you are a member of a firm that is putting you through the APC or has other surveyors within the firm, they'll often have access to an iServe account. I don't know how much iServe is if you were to pay for it yourself. If I'm honest, if I had to pay for it myself, I wouldn't. I think there's really good resources available for free online. But if you have access to it, then definitely use it, because obviously it's published by the RICS, so the information on there is what they want you to learn. So I have sort of their little summary sheets of each of the competencies. So this is data management. And then, yeah, I just make notes based on what is in the competency, if there's a relevant piece of legislation applicable to it. So yeah, I write up my notes of legislation in blue and then the supporting text in black underneath, so that I can remember any specific legislations or RICS guidance notes or anything like that. Oh, my printer ran out of ink when I was printing the whole life carbon assessment. The ironic thing is, granted, this is the best way I learn on paper, printing things out, highlighting, writing, that sort of thing. this is the most unsustainable method of learning, and they're really pushing their sustainability agenda at the moment. But the built environment is not known for being the most sustainable profession in the industry. Another great place for picking up on these level 1 and 2 mandatory competencies is RICS CPD days. So over 2020, they did so much free CPD online. I think they might have pulled that back a little bit now, but there's still lots of free stuff available on their events page. And if you go to any of the big firms, they will often have free CPD events for graduates for people who are sitting the APC. So Savills, Knight Frank, any of the big property firms, they often do graduate CPD days to teach you all of this stuff that you need to know in your mandatory competencies. And then we get into my technical competencies. So I've actually changed a couple of my competencies since I wrote these out, but the tabs are in perfect order and it's really upset me. So I haven't relabeled them, and I really hope that I remember what my competencies are now. So level 1, mapping. Again, got the RICS code of mapping practice here. Oh, no, measuring. Who am I talking about? Code of measuring practice, and this includes IPMS 1 and 2. And yeah, again, just got my notes here. Got highlights of key terms. So GEA, GIA, NIA. I mean, I feel like I'm teaching you to suck eggs here. Everyone has their own techniques for revision, but I just thought I'd walk you through what I've got with mine. Yeah, another great one is my firm deals quite a lot with Montague Evans, and a couple of years ago I attended their CPD day, so I've got a whole section here on measurement from their CPD day. So I've got measurement, I've got mapping, so I have to do both of those to level 1 on my pathway. Then there is valuation. Valuation and I, yeah. Oh, look at that. One of my flashcards is in there. Yeah, valuation and I are not the best of friends. That's going to be the competency that trips me up. Legal and regulatory compliance. So those are my 2 level 2s. And then to level 3, I'm doing development appraisals, planning, and then 2 more planning related ones, which are the ones that I switched to. So I haven't actually got them written down. So I can't say off the top of my head what they are. They're sort of strategic policy and infrastructure, and then development management, something along those lines. God, this has become really embarrassing. I don't even know the competencies that I'm doing. Development appraisals, I have got, oh, that's actually sensitive information. I shouldn't show that. Development appraisals, I've got a lot of text and a lot of information for, because this is something I've largely had to learn myself. So with this one, I've learned a lot from information I found online, old textbooks from university libraries where they offer these kinds of courses, and just teaching myself this kind of thing. So I've made loads and loads of notes on development appraisals. So it's probably my chunkiest one after ethics. Planning, yeah, just got some notes on some new legislation that came in the last 6 months or so. There's been a lot of change in planning, and I feel like I'm going to get asked on that a lot. One of the things I'll be really keen to ask you about in your interview is sort of current affairs, what's going on in the world, if there's any particular news going on at the moment. This is ignoring the elephant in the room of what's going on in the media with the RICS at the moment, but I'm not going to weigh in on that. That's not my place, certainly not until I have passed and I am a full qualified member and I can have my opinion on all of that stuff. So I keep notes of my meetings with my supervisor and counsellor, so just where I need to make some improvements, anything they've suggested, any suggested readings, or for example, there is an email contact here of someone to get in touch with. So just things like that. I think it's really important and useful to keep a note of the meetings that you're having with your supervisor and counsellor, because they're the experts at the end of the day. And then summary of experience. Oh, that's embarrassing. That's an empty tab. Summary of experience. I will talk through in another video. I think for me that was the easier of the two to write up, but I say that at the moment because I am about 1,000 words over my word limit, so obviously I need to cut that down massively. Case study, again, a lot of this I learnt from a RICS CPD day where they talked through what the best things to include in your case study are. And again, I'm going to go through that in a later video because again, the case study I didn't find too difficult to write up, but for me, writing and those kinds of things have always been my forte. So I always knew I wasn't going to find the written submission too difficult. As I say, at the moment, I have to cut things down, but then at the back, this is where the real value in this folder is. This is my APC tips section. I have all my candidate guidance and my pathway guide and everything like that, which you have to stick to like the Bible. They will not look favourably if you don't adhere to the particular guidance. For example, the fact that your case study has to be 3,000 words. If you're over 3,000 words, no. So stick to that. That has got to be by your side as you're writing. So I've got that. I wrote out, they have a little calendar and a timeline of where you should be at. So I included my own dates in that. So where are we now? We are on month 21. Oh, that's terrifying. We're getting there though. We're getting there. Just some more information from some CPD sessions that I've attended where they just talk about general APC advice. And something that's really useful, certainly for me, is that the RICS have got published versions of draft submissions on their website. Now they only have it for 4 or 5 of the pathways. Unfortunately for me, one of those pathways is planning and development management. Now obviously you can't copy things word for word because A, it's not going to be applicable to your written submission, and B, they do use Turnitin like at university to just cross-reference to make sure that you're not plagiarising anyone else's work. But just to have a guide of what it's supposed to look like is invaluable, and having the headings has just been so useful as I've been writing it out. Now this, I wasn't sure whether I was going to show you this or not. This is slightly outdated. I do have a more update version on my computer. This is the black market guide to passing your APC. And if you work at any of the big firms, it will have gone round. All the graduates pass. Ooh! I don't know who produced it. I don't know how the first person comes across this, but if there is anyone else in your firm or around you that you know that is sitting the APC, chances are they either have this or they have access to it. My manager knows about it, the people more senior in my firm know about it, but obviously you can't go shouting around about it. So yeah, the APC success guide, and this, so my one covers all of the mandatory competencies, and because at my firm most people undertake the commercial pathway guide, it covers a lot of the optional competencies for that one. So a couple of them are applicable for me, some of them aren't, but this has been a lifesaver, particularly in terms of learning ethics and all of the stuff that they want you to know for ethics. So if you can get your hands on this, you'll be fine. And that's it. I think I said in a previous video, if my house was burning down over the next 6 months, this would be the thing that I would reach for. It is just, the knowledge that is in here is invaluable to me. It is 2 years worth of learning and notes. That APC success guide at the end is my Bible at the moment. So I would highly recommend keeping your notes in some kind of order like this, because when it comes to revision, there is going to be a lot to learn. There's a lot of facts, a lot of key information, key dates, etc. So to have it in a systematic way like this, I mean, this isn't for everyone. I am hyper organised and I love this kind of thing, but I just thought I'd show you mine and you can get a feel for it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.